All right, so the season's over. The Indianapolis Colts are officially knocked out, eliminated from the playoff contention as the Houston Texans just beat them in a pretty entertaining football game, and it went down to the wire. The Colts finished the season 9-8. The Texans obviously 10-7. If the Jaguars lose tomorrow, the Texans win the division. And I'm just going to be completely candid in this moment, and you're going to catch me at a vulnerable moment. This is one of the most vulnerable moments you ever catch me in. I was sitting here for months now thinking about starting a podcast or starting a sports show or starting a sports. Well, what a perfect first video. My favorite team just lost in heartbreaking fashion in the last week of the season in a winner go home game. And what better time to talk about it than right after it just ended? So, um, a few things that I want to say about the game itself. The referees were definitely on one tonight, not like a bad way. I think they were honestly making a lot of the right calls, but they were making a lot of calls. And I feel like once you get to playoff football, it's not going to be like that. But it happened like it happened. Um, in terms of C.J. Stroud versus Gardner Minshew, C.J. Stroud obviously the better quarterback. What a great rookie. I hope he wins Rookie of the Year. He's been fantastic this season. Devin Singletary ran his ass off tonight. A lot of props, clap it up. I wish I had a soundboard, little applause effect. I'm not going to edit this, so there's no, um, nothing in post. Jonathan Taylor, thank you for being back and thank you for playing great. EJ Speed, love you. You played great today. The secondary struggled, but that was to be expected. I kind of thought they would. And then really, yeah. I was impressed with this season for sure. That was kind of the main thing that I wanted to kind of make this video about. Was more so not so much reaction to the game, but more reaction to the whole season. Because man, after last year, I was okay with a 5-win season. Like I'm the type of fan that, and I see a lot of fans get into this trap with themselves. They compare every single season to the best version of the team that they've ever seen, and you can't do that because the team, football's cyclical. You're not going to win a championship every 3 years. You're going to win a championship maybe once or twice in a span of 10 years if you're really, really good. And if you're the New England Patriots, you just win a bunch and everybody hates you and nobody, wants you to win again. But if you're the Chiefs or the Patriots, maybe you win a lot more than that. But for most teams, most franchises, you've either never won a Super Bowl before, or if you're my age, like I'm only 22 years old. The Colts have only been in the Super Bowl twice since I've been alive. One time they actually won it. I was 5 years old when they won that championship. So if you want to understand that I've never truly experienced a full NFL season watching them win a Super Bowl in my life, and I'm okay with that because that's how football goes. But my point there being is that I know a lot of Colts fans that still compare current day Colts to that team, and I'm sorry, but you can't do that. Everybody in that building's different besides basically the owner. So I'm someone I compare every single season to the season before. What a great year this was. If you just do what I just did, what a great year. To go from the absolute dumpster fire, the single worst team I've ever watched, a team that basically led me to drinking. Um, Matt Ryan, I'm sorry, you're a good commentator. You should have started that a year sooner. That team, I don't even want to talk about it. To this year, Shane Steichen comes in as the head coach. I was excited about it. We've had good experiences before bringing in the Eagles offensive coordinator because Frank Reich, up until last year, was a fantastic head coach, or at times had been a fantastic head coach. So definitely was excited about Shane Steichen. Great offensive mind, just took a team to the Super Bowl as their offensive coordinator, and I definitely think that he was a major part of that, and you can kind of see it now with the way Philly's been offensively since he's left. I think the two biggest things that opened my eyes this season about how bad last year truly was. The offensive line under Frank Reich last year, what happened? And now you see it whenever Frank Reich was in Carolina this year. That offensive line fell apart. I don't know what's happening with him coaching offensive lines. And then injuries last year felt like the end of the world. This year, next man up. And I hope they continue to build on that because that was unbelievable stuff out of them this year. I Let's go ahead and just shout, like I said, Shane Steichen, thank you for coming into Indianapolis and really just kind of changing the order of things, the landscape of things around here. I mean, this is a guy that beautiful offensive mind, and you see this happen sometimes in the National Football League. You get a great offensive mind who doesn't really have the team leadership abilities, or you get a great defensive mind. Either way, you get a great coordinator who just hasn't figured out the leadership ability and the way to kind of talk to a team and coach up a team, and hasn't figured that part out yet necessarily. This guy clearly is a good leader of men. He's smart with timeouts. He was smart with his game plan. And Gus Bradley being in the room, you could tell that helped as well because he had head coaching experience at a very high level. This was a very good staff and a very good year for the staff. And like I said, I give this man right here a lot of credit. You were fantastic. Another man that I give a lot of love to, who I don't have a picture of, and I want to say if you like the style of this video, thank you very much for appreciating it. I made this in about 10 minutes in a hurried panic. 2 puffs off the inhaler, fresh off of the inhaler, and you know what? I just went ahead and made it because I wanted to go ahead and make it. Had to get this video out somehow, right? Knee-jerk reaction, we got to do it. Off the cuff, no script, none. But I want to give a shout out to Chris Ballard. This year's draft class was, I mean, granted Anthony Richardson only played a handful of games. He was very banged up this year, ended up missing most of the season with that injury. The Gardner Minshew signing, I give a lot of credit to both Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard for. Obviously, Shane Steichen had worked with Gardner Minshew in Philly last year, so great job bringing him back around to the same offense. He's been fantastic, probably his best season since he was in that early Jacksonville Minshew mania run. The rookies, like I said, the rookies have been fantastic. Blake Freeland had to play a lot of snaps on the offensive line. He was good for being like a third-round pick and not expecting to have to play, being a swing tackle essentially. He played as good as he possibly could. And then I give a lot of love on the defensive side of the ball. Another free agent pickup was Samson Ebukam. He absolutely energized the defensive front. But also Deo in year 3, I believe year 3, year 3. Adeboarier. There's just a lot of fun talent on the defensive line, and I definitely give them a lot of props for that. But one guy that I have to shout out, because I love Michael Pittman, but I've kind of preached it that I don't think the receiving core, even with Pittman and Pierce last year, I didn't think the receiving core was that good. This man right here, ignore the Purdue ad. I'm an IU fan. You can see it on the hat. The Purdue ad was just there to taunt me, but screw you. IU won today, so at least I got that going for me. But this man right here, a third-round pick, 79th overall pick, and he's obviously a top 15 to 20 rookie in the National Football League this year, I think, regardless of who you are. 65 catches, 723 yards, 2 touchdowns. You see it on your screen. The most catches by a rookie in a single season for the Colts, which is an awesome stat because obviously you had Marvin Harrison to compete with and just a lot of great receivers over the years. Let's go, Josh Downs. This is my favorite receiver on the Colts right now, probably my favorite player on the Colts right now. When they made the draft pick, I was ecstatic. It panned out like I wanted it to, and man, I'm very happy. And I might actually get I'm a diehard Colts fan. You can see there's a freaking pennant up on the wall here, and if you actually look even further up, it's a freaking Peyton Manning plushie, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a diehard Colts fan, but I have a confession to make. I know Usher. I'm not Usher. I have a confession to make. The newest, freshest Indianapolis Colts jersey that I own is still an Andrew Luck jersey. I know. Boo me. I wish I had a soundboard for that too. Boo me all you want. Rain on my parade. I'm already tore up and sad about it. What I will say, Josh Downs, you have officially, after this season, you have earned the place as the next jersey I will buy. I actually plan on doing that very, very soon. I'm burping into this is a bad video. I'm burping. There's no sound effects. This is awful. But Josh Downs, I'm going to buy your jersey. You have earned it. I just can't help myself. I have to buy one. I need a Josh Downs jersey. But I bring him up and I talk about him to say one thing. The future is extremely bright And 9 wins with this team is still a success. Now, I'll be real with you. I've only been using OBS for so long. Isn't it an open broadcasting system? I've only been using OBS for so long. I don't know why the font looks like that, but I think it's hilarious, and I'm going to keep it. 9 wins with that young of a team, with that many guys on the roster that have never played pro football before or have never played winning pro football before, to win 9 games, Shane Steichen, you are absolutely a Coach of the Year candidate. And I feel like if they would have made the playoffs, he would have been a serious Coach of the Year candidate. 9 wins is more than anybody in the organization could have ever asked for. I genuinely think that the ceiling that I had going into the year, even with the weak-ish schedule that the Colts had this year, I think the ceiling that I even put on them was 7 wins. And that was a stretch in my eyes. I thought 5 or 6 wins was the most they could do. And I thought that was good. I thought that was an improvement from last year. I thought that was enough for me to be happy. And like I said, we compare this season to the season prior. And that would have been enough for me. But you give me 9 wins. You come out and you do a beautiful thing, Shane Steichen. You do a very beautiful thing. You come out and you give me a playoff caliber game, or a playoff feel game. Game that feels like the playoffs is probably a better way to put that statement. You give me a game where my heart goes up and down. I beat a lot. And you give me a game where my emotions can get high and I can be invested and lost in the moment and forget about my problems and forget about my issues. And that's the type of football that I haven't had really since Phillip Rivers was the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. So thank you, Shane Steichen. And thank you, Gardner Minshew, for being a beautiful man who was part of the inspiration for me to go to mostly just a mustache. Thank you to Jonathan Tigler for finally figuring out your contract issues with Jim Irsay. I know that Jim Irsay has a drinking problem. It's okay. You figured it out. He was sober enough to make a contract work out with you, and I'm happy about that. Chris Ballard, once again, you drafted very well. And yeah, just a very fun season. A lot of exciting games. A lot of games that I considered to be off the rails, just super entertaining because of that. And you know what? I want to talk a little bit before I get out of here. I want to talk a little bit about what I think next season could be. And I might do a longer, deeper or something down the road about this, because this is the very first video on this channel. So, of course, it's only a start, right? We're just now crossing the starting line. We can't just cross the finish line in the same video, even though the video will end. So, I guess technically. The Colts need about 3 different things in my eyes to really round out this roster at this point. I think the biggest thing is a corner. I think the cornerback room, part of the reason they lost this game was because of the corners just having some miscommunications, a couple players not playing that great. Darrell Baker, I like you as a person, I think. Or if I met you, I wouldn't say any of this to your face. But you're a bonehead sometimes, and that just definitely didn't help. Corner needs to be addressed, though, and I think safety could be addressed, but Ronnie Harrison was good this year. If you bring him back, he's okay. Nick Cross has played good, and I don't mind Rodney Thomas. It's a decent by-committee group, but you might need somebody else in there, right? I think another position that's like a dire need, not a dire need, but like a need that like we saw it this season. The Colts would have had at least one more win, I think, if they would have had another nose tackle on the roster. They got to go get a nose tackle. Grover Stewart's the only guy on the roster, and he's like 31 or 32 right now. So get a nose tackle, get a corner, and then I think your one weapon, whether that's a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end, mostly a tight end probably, but especially a wide receiver in my opinion, away from having one of the better offenses, I think, in the entire National Football League, especially with Anthony Richardson coming back next year. Like I said, I'm probably going to dive deeper into it. I want to do a lot of draft-related stuff, so I'll definitely talk about that more, but what a year. Samson Ebukam, unbelievable signing. My boy Josh Downs, unbelievable pickup. Shane Steichen, one of the best coaching hires of the year. I'm happy with it. 9-8 is still a success for this team. And we're gonna finish the year off. I told you this team led me to drinking last year, and it was a sad drinking. This year, you know what, we're gonna have some fun with it. I'm okay with this. We're gonna have some fun with it here. I don't know what YouTube's policies are anymore. So this is gonna be an upside down video of me enjoying a totally normal shot glass sized amount of sludge water is what we're going to call it. Dirty sludge water is what we're going to call it, because that's what it looks like and that's what it is. Nothing else. Nothing other than that. And I'm going to enjoy such beverage or such drink in honor of a fun season and a great season. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, I said it was gonna be upside down for this. Let's go ahead. Cheers. Shout out the $3 thrifted IU shot glass. Sludge water down the hatch. Cheers. Tap off the laptop, don't spill anything. Sludge water is not great, guys. I mean, I hope you would have known that before I even tried it. Drink sludge water responsibly. That's everything that I had to say. And I know someone's going to click on this video and think, "Oh my god, he's going to be crying and tears are going to be coming out of his eyes and he's going to be shitting himself because Goodson just dropped that pass on 4th and 1 with the game on the line, and every Colts fan is going to be doing backflips over Lucas Oil Stadium with tears in their eyes, and their fists are going to be balled up, and they're going to be ready to punch something and throw something and cry about it and probably never recover ever again. And they're just going to be so tore up and so sad and so destroyed." That's not me. This was a great season. This was a good year. And now, congratulations, Houston Texans. Once again, soundboard, need to get working on that. We move on. We press forth. We conquer. And, yeah. Not the worst year. And I think the future is very bright.